Carl Edwards running in second spot. Jimmy Johnson moving up steadily now to 19th position. Now, while you were away, a little teamwork did take over here for Roush Fenway.
Yeah, Carl gets a little bit of a run off turn 4, and once he had position, when they came to the start-finish line, Matt Kenseth backed out of the gas just a little bit, let Carl have this lead for at least momentarily. He let him lead a couple of laps, and then looked to me like Carl let him back by.
Now he gave it back to Kenseth, and now here comes Carl again. So Edwards actually led 3 laps, and now he will go by and lead again.
And I think he's saying now that, you know, I caught you. I appreciate what you did there. You see Carl wiggle just a little bit there in turn 2. But I think he feels like he has the better car.
That's the way it works. I mean, if he needs to lead that lap, the teammate will give it to him, let him lead a lap, and then give it back, swap back, and then, okay, now it's game on. If you can get by me now, take off.
Yeah, they better look in their mirror because Kevin Harvick's coming at him pretty good. As you see Harvick coming into the picture there.
2 Roush Fenway teammates in Fords. There comes Harvick, the Chevy you were talking about, Dale Jarrett. And Harvick, one of the drivers who hasn't won here, but when I visited with his car owner, Richard Childress, this morning, he said, you know, this 29 car is going to be really good today. Well, they have swapped it back and forth a couple of times between the 99 and 17. A couple of teammates. Kenseth let Carl lead a lap, then Carl has gone back by. But let's listen into their radio. They may not be real happy with each other.
Wasn't meant to be permanent. I don't do this crap, then they don't give it back to you. Negative. He said he wants it back here. I'm sorry. Bob was motioning. He said, I thought he said let him go. So if you give it to him back, just take it back from him. He's about 3 back, though.
Okay, that's just what we were talking about. When Matt let the 99 car go by, he thought the deal was, okay, I'll let you lead a lap, then let me back in front. Well, it was a couple laps before Carl actually gave it back to him.
That's what's so great about our sport. And so, you know, we talk about teammates. You have to be really careful how you use that word here. Yeah, they drive for the same organization, but it's not like other sports, you know, not like they play for the Miami Dolphins, you know, and they're working for a common goal. They have, and so it gets a little bit exciting at times.
We talk about agendas. How about the 44 car, pole sitter David Rudiman, and driving, getting his very first pole for Michael Waltrip Racing, and how big would it be for him to be able to go to victory lane for the first time in his career here in this finale?
Well, that's his last race with UPS as a sponsorship, but this team has really shown a lot of promise. And talking to David this morning, he really felt like that he had a car capable of running up in the top 5 all day. He really feels like when it gets to the night part of the race that he's going to be in good shape.
Behind him, the 6 car, David Reagan, top 15 finishes the last 7 races, solidly 13th in the overall point standings.
He's got 2 teammates up there leading this thing, and he's hanging right in there too. These Roush guys have a great setup for this racetrack.
We thought maybe the young driver Scott Speed, the 83 car, making only his 5th start coming from Formula One, would probably struggle early on. I guess we were wrong, Jamie.
Maybe a little bit. You know, new face. He's in a different number car. He's in Brian Vickers, number 83 this weekend. I talked to the team about Scott starting on the front row today, and they said the only thing we're concerned about is running up front with these drivers. Even though this is his 5th start, he's never raced against these guys. He's been running around the back, kind of learning his way around the NASCAR routes. So far, guys, he's doing a great job. His spotter telling him great line as he holds on to 6th position.
Jamie, he is holding his...
He's just been so solid this whole week. I mean, he came in here qualified great every practice, and he's sitting right there. I mean, I think he's starting to get this thing.
He is hanging on, and one guy who's moving, though, toward him is this guy, Jimmy Johnson, who is our biggest mover here in the first 24 laps so far. Started back in 30th position, has now gained 12 spots up to 18th, and I don't think it'll be long. We'll see this car in the top 10.
Well, he said they were very pleased with their race car, and Jimmy's done exactly what he set out to do. Let things string out a little bit, and then kind of all he has to do is pass them one at a time at that point in time. And a long way to go in this race. He can still be very patient. He's in a great position.
Still all 43 cars that started are on the racetrack. Jimmy Johnson moving up steadily. Carl Edwards is our leader.
See, can you make it on the line?
Carl Edwards leading here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. 3 Roush Fenway cars in the top 5 right now. And Edwards needing to lead every single lap he can get. Let's listen in on his radio.
How's Jimmy running? 18 T18. Let's not worry about that. Focus on what we got to do now. Yeah, 10-4. Just curious. We'll give you regular updates. 10-4.
See, he's kind of concerned about where Jimmy is, but he better be concerned about his rearview mirror.
Well, he just out there cruising out in the front. He wanted to know something, you know. He knows he's doing his job right now. He is doing that, so he just wanted a little update.
You see that yellow car right there? He's coming.
That's Kevin Harvick, who's now gone by his teammate Matt Kenseth to take the second spot away. Shannon.
Yeah, Doc, Kevin Harvick just turned the fastest lap on the racetrack. Right now he's saying he's just a little bit tight through the center on both ends of the racetrack, but they have been very happy with this car all weekend long. In fact, Todd Barrier, crew chief for Kevin Harvick, told me the only real changes that they've made are a little bit of change to camber and a little bit of change to those spring rubbers, taking them in and out. No changes that they cannot fix on a pit stop. They feel that this weekend is their best chance to get to victory lane. Of course, their first victory of the season.
Let's ride along and watch our direct TV telemetry here and watch him just hammer that throttle coming off the corner.
See, this is a fast racetrack. These guys are humming down the straightaway, 185, 86, 7 miles an hour. See, they just apply a little bit of brake just so he can get to the bottom of the racetrack. If he was running the high line, he might not use quite as much brake. He gets to the throttle pretty quick.
Jimmy Johnson continuing to move up and pick positions off one at a time, trying to move into 17th if he gets by Sorensen here, the 41 car. Dave.
And Doc, I asked crew chief Chad if they made any significant adjustments to get this car to work in traffic. And he said, you know what, you can't do a lot with it. The driver just has to suck it up. Well, Jimmy's been working hard, picking up positions, and his car has changed over this run. At first it was tight off the corner on the throttle, and now back on lap 23 he reported it was a little bit free. So changing and the driver sucking it up and working hard.
You know, I talked to a number of drivers down there, and every one of them said those very words, working hard. It's hard working there at this racetrack with these cars. And so they all knew that it was going to be a long 400 miles, but Jimmy Johnson was ready for it.
We've also seen him change the groove a little bit, Andy. He was running way up high in early laps. Now he's moved to the middle and bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, I kind of speculated he might be running that high line, and just in case he has a problem, he doesn't have that far to go to the wall, and maybe not tear the car up. But you see that smoke. He's banging the splitter pretty hard. It looks like getting in the corner.
Did you mention smoke?
I did. There he is.
Tony Stewart, final ride here with Joe Gibbs Racing. 10-year relationship, 33 victories, 2 NASCAR. $1 million in earnings, and it all goes away after this race. How much would he like to give Joe Gibbs and these guys one final win?
Yeah, I was talking to Tony about that. He said he'd love to do that. He was happy with his race car. Only thing he said was whenever things cooled down a little bit, it got a little tighter in the center than what he would like to. They made a couple of changes to try to help that. Obviously, that'll come a little later on.
Here's his teammates, the 18 car, Kyle Busch. What a phenomenal year he has had, 8 victories, including the first win for Toyota in NASCAR Sprint Cup competition, and the 11 car, Denny Hamlin, who was the fastest car in the final practice here on Saturday.
Yeah, you better watch this guy before this is over with, because he's on the move. Jimmy Johnson started out kind of on his bumper here back about 18 laps ago, and Denny Hamlin drove away from him, being able to pass cars pretty much at will on the bottom of the racetrack most of the time here early on.
Hamlin has now gained 14 spots from his 25th starting position. Amazing. Denny Hamlin never qualifies well. He started 33rd and 32nd the last 2 years, but in both races he's finished in the top 5.
He knows how to get a good race setup. He knows what he wants to feel in the car, and he's got it. He did it in happy hour, and he's making headway right now. Gets by Kyle Busch.
Yeah, getting a little extra boost there down the straightaway from his teammate Kyle Busch.
We've seen some of that here this weekend. There's some little bump drafting at this track.
When you slide up in front of that guy that's on that using the top side, it's really easy to run up there and get a little something. Here's Carl Edwards, our leader. He's out about a second and a half in front of Kevin Harvick right now.
38 laps in, and here is the guy leading the show right now, Carl Edwards. Jimmy Johnson moving in, though, from 30th starting spot all the way up to 17th. Johnson chasing history, Carl Edwards chasing a victory and maybe an outside shot at being the last man standing when this day is done.